My name is Benjamin Martinez, and I would like to talk to you about the Declaration of Independence.
This is 6 Minutes with Benjamin Martinez.
The story to this important document started more than 10 years before it got signed. In 1765, the Stamp Act was imposed on the American colonists and was intended to tax paperwork from legal papers to newspapers, even playing cards. But this only lasted for about a year, when all the colonists protested and boycotted the British goods. This was the start of an 11-year history leading up to the Declaration. Fast forward to 1770 in Boston! Okay, so British troops were stationed at... Alright, I have to go eat. I'll be right back. So that was a really good dinner, but let's get on to it. So the British troops were stationed at capital of Province of Massachusetts Bay, where the colonists were protesting against the British Parliament. During the protest, it said that British troops fired into their crowd and killed 5 colonists. I bet it was pretty devastating. This event caused tension between the unpopular parliament and the colonists. Three years later, the Tea Act was imposed, which allowed a British-owned company, in North America to monopolize the tea trade. It was done to save only one British tea company from financial ruin by lowering the prices. This is one of many taxation laws that colonists were outraged by. In 1773, Samuel Adams and the Sons of Liberty dressed up as Indians and went to 3 ships and threw 342 crates of tea overboard. This act drew both sides closer and closer to war. A year later, there was a British warship named Gaspee that got attacked by colonists and burnt. Turns out that this ship was put in the harbor by the British to collect tax and investigate cargo ships. The colonists were going furious because of the taxes and laws that the British were putting on them. The king saw this as a threat, so he decided to shut down the Boston harbor. He extended the border to cut off the western colonists of Connecticut, Virginia, and Massachusetts. This was known as the Quebec Act. Many British troops were sent to Boston, and the colonists were made to feed them and house them. If they didn't, they got shot. You see, the British can only be tried in Britain for their crimes, which left them to do anything they wanted in their colony. The people were unhappy, so colony representatives met to talk about their response to Britain's actions. This meeting became known as the First Continental Congress. Chief needed some cuddling. Oh, I forgot to tell you. And so, in April 9th, 1775, the colonists sent their troops over to Boston, and the first shot was fired. This started the American Revolution against Britain. In years to come, many people will lose their property and lives to fight against the British, who kept them under control. The Battle of Bunker Hill on June 17, 1775 proved the resilience of strength of American colonists. They knocked out over half of the British troops sent to Boston. But on July 5th, 1775, the American colonists gave the king an olive branch petition. This was a way to end the war with Britain. The king was not having it. He labeled them traitors and he declared them rebellions. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. This chair Thomas Jefferson sat on to no, I'm just joking with you. We're gonna reupholster it later. Oh, question! I have a question. Good question for you. When do you think the Declaration of Independence was signed? Well, some of us think it's signed on the 4th of July, 1776. That was actually the day it was accepted by the majority of the colonies. It was actually signed on August 2nd, 1776. This document was the start of our freedom from Great Britain. The greatest minds of our colony came together to protect our liberty through the Declaration of Independence. This document is what America is built on. There is so much more to American history. I encourage you to research about the events that happened since the Declaration of Independence. That was nearly 250 years ago. I guarantee a lot has happened. This is what the document is.
No, pause. Take a deep breath. Nice posture. Sit up straight, fix your hat.